Hi everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to Power of Knowing Forum's 127th episode, where we are covering a topic of strategic career planning, setting goals and achieving success. We have the honor of having Dr. Sneha Sharma, who is a career spotlight coach, LinkedIn branding expert, confidence coach, public speaker, and a trainer. Without further ado, let's welcome Sneha, Dr. Sneha, to our podcast. Hi, Sneha. Hi, Sneha. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can, sir.
Hi. Welcome to our podcast, Sneha. A small intro about yourself to our audience to start with.
Right, sir. So,
Yeah, go ahead.
right, sir, right. So, hi, everybody, and thank you very much, sir, for having me here today. So, I'm Dr. Sneha Sharma. I'm a career spotlight coach, and I help young professionals in building themselves a brand that can get them spotlight, because I feel we all are special and we deserve to be in the spotlight. And this spotlight is enough in the world. So, nobody needs to snatch it from anyone. There is a lot of it. So, we just need to know how do you present yourself so that you're able to stand out and get the desired spotlight. And it's a pleasure to be here, hoping to add some value to all of you today. Thank you.
Thank you. Let's start with what is career spotlight coach in special? Because when you say spotlight, I think people all are curious about saying, what is the spotlight I'm getting into, right? So,
Right.
what is
I,
that, and how do you define this has evolved? Because I see a lot of people talking about spotlight coach in career success and stuff like that. So, how
uh,
do you give an insight to this as a spotlight coach?
All right. So, the reason why I use the word, not just a career coach, a career spotlight coach is another reason why I want that spotlight on me, because the world is full of people who are adding value to everyone. What with the work that they are doing. So, my ideology behind the spotlight is that I feel that all of us have um, a lot of potential, and if we know how to present it impactfully, we all can get the desired spotlight. And I think I'm a person who, even if you read about me, if you connect with me, talk with me, you'll come to know that I'm a person who doesn't really believe in sorting the weaknesses. I mean, many
Hmm.
of you would find it, what are you saying? I mean, being a coach, how can you say that you're not supposed to work on your weaknesses? But I really feel that if I want to be in spotlight, I need to be doing what is my strength, right? So my strength is where I connect with people, my strength is where I can motivate them, my strength is I give them frameworks which they can implement, which can get them success. So that is how I have created my spotlight, that is how I help. Similarly, any one of us who would like to be in spotlight, we need to find out that two or three areas where we want to define our success with, राइट बिकॉज इन हिंदी वी से मंजिल मिल ही जाएगी भटक कर ही सही, गुमराह तो वो हैं जो घर से ही नहीं निकले. सो वंस यू हैव टेकन दैट डिसीजन दैट यू वांट टू बी सक्सेसफुल, you need to be finding out that inner calling of yours, finding out your strength and making it into super strength. So a super strength is what I equate with a spotlight. So yeah, I think that should answer your question, that why this career spotlight has come into picture.
Yeah, interesting analogy. I think nobody has thought about it, saying that as a career spotlight coach is something new for me at least. But you are talking about some of the frameworks and methodologies. What are you recommending for effective career goals as a framework or a methodology people should follow? Because now you see a lot of things coming up and people don't have a clarity in how they want to look at a career path itself. There is a
Correct.
lot of information available, but how do we look at and say which is the framework or a methodology I should follow for my career? Your
Right.
insights
So
on that.
I Right. So I have devised something that I call as 3C approach, right?
Okay.
So I feel that for getting spotlight, whether in your career, in your personal life, in your any kind of a relationships, professional, personal, friendships, anything, The one thing which we all will agree that helps us is the confidence.
Hmm.
And I feel that confidence will only come when you have this, 3C framework in place. And that framework is 1C. The first one is clarity. That's what you also started this question with, that these days people are not very clear about
Yeah.
what is it that they really want to do, want to have, right? And that is because of, the shining syndrome, the fear of missing out, one thing or the other. So first step is to get clear on what is it that you really want, which comes through self analysis, which comes through sitting with yourself, hearing your self talk, and figuring out what exactly is it that I really want to be doing, having, and being. Then your second C comes into picture, which is content. I need to be clear about which aspect of my life I want to showcase my confidence. Sachin
Hmm.
Tendulkar chose cricket, Lata Mangeshkar chose singing, Sneha Sharma chose career coaching. What have you chosen? We need to figure out. And once you figure out that area, that clarity has come, now you need to build content. The only time you will not find somebody, not speaking. Uh, I'm not able to hear you, sir. Am I audible to you?
No, yeah, you are audible. You got disconnected for a minute.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was just sharing that once you have the content clear, once you have the confidence of what you want to build yourself upon, that clarity has come. Now is the time to build your content, because for confidence, you need to know what you have to speak. People call themselves, extroverts, introverts. I feel all of us are ambiverts, because at one point of time I might be having, a very extensive knowledge on something. At that point of time I am going to be, coming out as an extrovert. Why? Because yes, I know it all and I want to speak about it. But the moment you give me a topic that I may not have knowledge about, have not got the content about, that is the time when you are not able to present yourself. So clarity, content, and third aspect is, if you're clear and you know it all, but if you're not able to speak it up, it's not going to help. So we call it in Hindi apne muh miya mithu. That is the reality. You need to speak for yourself, you need to present yourself, you need to talk to world and tell them what is it that you want to talk about, what is your key aspects about it, how do you see something. So presenting your perception, I think, is the biggest aspect of all of it. So I call it 3C: content, clarity, communication. And when these 3C's combine, what you get is confidence. And once you're confident, I think you can set up any goal and it will end up becoming your reality. I hope that answers your question. Thank you.
So you said something is about self-talk, right? How many people do you think do have a very good positive self-talk in within us? See,
So
I
you
picked
know
up
the
a very
answer.
important point because I was see I do a lot of self-talk because that's what I learned over the period, saying that you'll have to talk to yourself, then only you'll get clarity. What am I doing and stuff like that.
Correct. Very
So
true.
most of the people, what we see is the thoughts that we get is about 60,000 thoughts per day, is what I understand. And in the thoughts, 90% is negative, right? And people talk to them, I am not fit enough, I'm not good enough, I'm not lucky, I'm not earning much and stuff like that. Your take on self-talk, because career building is much related to how people talk to themselves, how they build themselves, is what I understand. Your thoughts on it, Dr. Sneha?
Uh, I think you're absolutely right. And that's why I use the word self talk. I used it intentionally because
Okay.
what we do every day is no self motivation, we do self sabotaging. Every step,
Right.
every single moment you miss out a small thing, you're like, what the hell, why did I do this? I could not do this much. Why are you cribbing? Why are you putting yourself down every now and then? and then you want the world to appreciate you. How will somebody appreciate you when you do not allow yourself to be appreciated in your own eyes? And career, believe you me, whether it's career, being a mother, whether it's a relationship with your kid, whether it's a relationship with your spouse or with anyone in the world, if you are not having the right kind of self talk, irrespective of how much effort you put in, how many hours you put in to do everything correct, it will not give you results because you're stuck. And that is
Yeah.
why when somebody comes to me for coaching, I do not talk about their resume. I do not want to know how their LinkedIn profile is. The first thing is for me to understand, what do they really feel about themselves? Do they think they can do it? Because if they think they can do it, I can guide them. But if they are so sure that they can never do it, irrespective of which coach they go to, until unless the coach doesn't change their mindset, it cannot be done. It's more like you are judging a fish by how high it can fly. What will you do about it? It's very sad, but that's how it's been there. And that is why I think talking to yourself, it releases so much of emotions within you. It makes you feel so calm and composed. Life all of a sudden gets sorted. And I think very small exercise that I want, if our audience would like to try, they could go ahead and do it. Buy a new piece of small notebook, buy a pen, or open your mobile phones, and whenever you see yourself or you hear yourself or you watch yourself talking something negative about yourself, just write that down, and you will be amazed, and if I may use the word ashamed, that how many times throughout the day you've put yourself down. So while we were talking, you must have heard, our audience will also hear, every 30 minutes on my phone, there is a bell that rings. And the bell is only to remind me that I am worth it. I am
Okay.
worth it. I am deserving of it and I can do it. Not that I don't believe it. It is just a reminder and recall, because so many things happen that we tend to, put ourselves down. So yeah, I think getting that self talk right is the beginning of all success, and it has no end. You can do anything. Anything, I means anything.
I get you there. Your point is very valid. When we write down something and we look at them, after some time, you'll find, is that so? Is that what I am? Right? And while reading a book, if you read a book, you read a paragraph first and you go to the next page and you come back and read the same paragraph, you will understand it differently. Your thought
Absolutely.
process changes, right? So I think that is one way of putting it very right. What could be some of the common obstacles
Hmm.
faced by people when setting up career goals, and also how do we look at overcoming them? Setting up goals is itself is a problem for us, right? So what is the goal for us? Goal is to have biryani in the afternoon, but what kind of a biryani we don't know. Where to
I
get the biryani we don't know. But example is just on food stuff. The goal is to have a good biryani, just for a short term or an immediate effort that we
right.
want to look at. When we don't know to decide what is that I want to eat for afternoon, how is that we can have people look at their long term, or start with short term, then plan a long term career? How do you look at helping them?
Right. So, coming to your first question, which was about how do we really, overcome, or what are the biggest obstacles that usually you face. So, in my journey of last, it's been 14 years now that I've been into this profession. I think the biggest obstacle is self awareness. And this self awareness, the lack of self awareness, if I may call it, it leads to not knowing what is your strength. Forget about building it into a super strength. This causes misalignment, and with misalignment comes frustration,
Yeah.
burnout, and unfulfillment. And then you are like, this life is not worth it, right? So, the first biggest obstacle that I see most of us trying to figure out is not having enough of awareness. And the sad part is that these days, people come to me and ask me, you tell me what is it that I want to achieve. How can I tell you what you have to achieve? You need to figure out what you have to achieve, and I can guide you how to achieve that. And to
Yeah.
know what you want to achieve, you have to be talking to yourself. You need to be listening to yourself, that what is it that you really want to do? Is it because you want to showcase a new car that you want a job switch, or you enjoy driving a better car so you want to have a new car? And secondly, most importantly, do you think you are worth of it? Do you think you are deserving to get a car? I want to have a BMW, but I'm like, milni to hai hi nahi. I don't deserve it. I don't have the knowledge. I will never have the money. How on earth will you ever
Yeah.
get it?
I,
You will
I,
never.
I relate one point here. I was in the Middle East about 10 years back. Okay. And I always was fascinated about that BMW 750 LDI, right? Very specific. Okay. So I was fascinated about it. And in Bahrain, you get a lot of imported cars. Middle East in specific, you have the latest cars. So I had one of my reportee settled in Bahrain for a very long time, and he was part of the project. So he was like, "Sir, वो गाड़ी क्यों नहीं लेते हो?" I said, "गाड़ी लेने में क्या है? But it is very expensive, man." So compared to what, sir? Expensive compared to what? Then I said, compared to what I earn. Then I said, that guy said, what you earn? तो आज जो अर्न कर रहे हो लाइफ में उतना ही अर्न करोगे क्या? We started discussing. These pointers came in and said, finally, when I realized is that I could afford it.
Yes,
One. Second is, always there's a blocker that how will I maintain it? The, the question is not buying. After the buying is what is that you maintain. So I asked him, what, sir, एक गाड़ी लेने के लिए जब आप इतना सोचते हो मेंटेन करने में ज्यादा नहीं लगेगा सर व्हेन यू सिट ऑन इट यू विल डेफिनेटली मेक इट happen. So then I eventually went for another car which was more important for me. I went and had a Porsche with me for Porsche Cayenne I had with me, and I because of that guy I thought bigger first. Second is I had the dream car that I wanted to have, and I drove it for almost 20 months. And when you say, हमेशा we put ourselves down. We don't say, I can afford this. It is worth for me. And we think today's what we are as a career will be the same for next 5 years.
absolutely. And sir, if we keep thinking in that loop, that ends up becoming the reality for
Reality,
99%
yes,
of
yes.
us.
And we don't
And
try.
there is,
After that, it is not trying. That
yes,
ends.
yes,
So
because then you've
that
given up.
car was there with me for a very long time, and I enjoyed the drive. And now I am telling people, whoever tells, you said a dream car, right? Dream
Right,
house. Can
absolutely.
you sit in Bangalore traffic in your dream car for 2 hours? If you are saying you cannot sit that, then it is not your dream car.
It's not your dream car. Absolutely, I agree.
Because in your dream car, you can spend the whole day.
I suppose the whole life, sir. That's why
Yeah,
it's a dream. That's what
it's
you
a
call.
dream. Now, dream house. सुबह से घर पे हूँ. What are you talking? That's a dream house. You should stay,
That's what you wanted to
right?
create.
So, the,
Absolutely.
I get your point in very, very clear terms saying that our self-talk is always negative.
Absolutely, sir. And once you get hold of your self awareness, once you're able to understand why you want something, what is it that you really want to be doing, then comes, the main steps of building your long term and short term goals and then matching them out. Because I feel that I am not a person who's asking you to, just think about it and maybe sit and do nothing. We need
Hmm.
to take inspired action. I mean, you thought about changing a car, you took a action.
Yeah.
And then kept on building, so that has to happen. But for that, the first step is clarity, because many clients come to me and they're like, I want to be reaching a CXO position, but how? For reaching a CXO position, you need to do small steps. You need to keep doing it for a period of 5 7 8 years of your career, so that you're able to build that skill set in you, that content, that when you speak, people look at you and say, this person is a CXO material. This person has the body language. He has those leadership capabilities. He has those, command over language where he can take a team together. It will not happen overnight. You need to take action. But
Yeah.
of course, the first step is to getting that goal clarity. Second step is figure out the time frame, how far you would like to. And time frame also, it is not something which is same for all of us. Somebody who's maybe done schooling from a better school, from who got privileged in early
Hmm.
childhood years, maybe for them the time is different depending on what goal
True.
they want to achieve.
True.
Maybe
True.
somebody else, it's a different time schedule. So don't read your book on somebody else's index, that how fast they did it, because that is a very different story.
We had a session about a week back. See, we were talking about a pointer where we said, for you, it's 9. For me, it is 6. You take the number there, right? When you see from your perspective, it is 9 for you. For me, it is 6. Now, if I
Absolutely.
am seeing it from your shoes, for me, it is 9, and for you, it is 6.
Absolutely.
Now, looking at what we are talking about is everybody's perspective changes as you think. And everybody has a difference of opinion for a same topic, right? That's
Absolutely.
what you're talking about, right? Now, how you talked about long term and short term goals, keeping this in mind, right? Where everybody has an opinion
Hmm.
and everybody has their own job. How do we, or how should individuals look at balancing long term and short term objectives?
I think the first step is to be having the faith in
Hmm,
yourself that
hmm,
you will achieve.
yeah,
Because if you put a seed and you keep checking, is it growing? Is it growing? It will never grow. So the
yeah,
first step is to put the faith in. I am preparing. I will be successful because I know I am deserving of being successful. I will be successful. Once that is done, now
hmm,
you have to flower the plant. For flowering, you have to put soil, you have to put the manure, you have to do the watering. So those are the small term goals. So one of my clients wanted to reach a CXO position. So what did we do? We started making him more visible in the team meetings. We started giving him inputs on how he could present his critical thinking skills. So he started building himself on those aspects. So those are the small action steps that he took. Like that's why we call them small term objectives. So the objective became to be a problem solver. The objective became to be having presenting the analytical skills. And then because you're having the faith in mind, you are keeping yourself aligned. So you take every action with a lot of positivity. Not इसको करने से क्या होगा, क्योंकि अगर
hmm,
कुछ नहीं होगा आपके दिमाग में तो वो नहीं होगा. It is not going to give you any result. There are so many people who are so hardworking and they end up achieving nothing. And then they ask everyone, I have put in so much effort, because they were so sure that their effort is not going to bring results. It's not going to bring results. So once you
ये
get
ये ऐसा हो गया कि मैं फेल हो जाऊंगा फिर भी जाके एग्जाम लिखूंगा एंड आई फेल देन आई नो द रिजल्ट राइट.
right, because sir, honestly, when you give this example, I mean, throughout my schooling, I and my sister, we've been. I am blessed to have a sibling sister, and we both have been very good with academics. So, although we were, born to the same parents, but our way of approaching couple of things in life are very different. But we
Yes.
are still at the same kind of ideology match still happens. And I still remember that when I used to prepare for any exam, my agenda was very clear. My syllabus should finish one day in advance, and last day I should practice 5 times, and there is nothing that I would not know in the exam. And till date, that is my reality. And I also had friends who would say, I am going to just study these two questions, 2 units, and I am going to pass. They too passed. So there is no rule. But yes, once you have the clear picture, then you decide your path, that I need to reach this position in
Yeah.
career. I start upskilling, because I
Hmm.
feel upskilling will help me present more impactfully. I start networking, because I feel network can get me referrals. So when I believe in something, I do it, and I do it with 100% conviction. I feel having conviction in life is one of the most crucial part, because everyone starts from zero. It has to
Hmm.
be a zero. Nobody starts their career from 100. You start from zero and you build it step by step, and that is what a long term goal would mean like. So I
Yeah.
believe that is how we need to be looking at achieving our career goals, where your short term objectives should be such that you're able to create a clear path. You need to be flexible, because at times you get an opportunity at workplace which you were never prepared for, but because your pace is correct, because you're skilling in the right direction, you're presenting yourself impactfully, you will be more than happy to take that opportunity, because you're in the flow, you're in the momentum. So we need to, start building our step by step building blocks, as we call them, short term goals as building blocks, and then taking them towards our final objective, which we believe we can achieve. Thank you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Now, how can a professional remain adaptive in their career planning and to account unexpected changes in the industry and job market? Because now what is happening is people are talking about AI, big concern, right? AI is there, people will lose their jobs and stuff like that. There is a lot of unexpected changes that can be brought by the technology,
Very
which
true.
I think is a big challenge. People saying, how are they looking at it, or how is your view, what they should look at it?
So you've introduced a very big change which is there in the market, and I think before that we could also think about COVID as something which was, something that no one expected out of
Hmm.
anything that change will be handled.
Yeah,
So coming to AI, I recently read an article, and it said, because the AI is becoming so strong every single day, it is getting better and better. The only skill that can save you at this point of time in your career is communication, because that is where AI can help you build content. It cannot give you clarity, although, but communication is where a human intervention will always be respected, needed, and acknowledged. So, if we think about the changing trends, I am a person who believes in riding the tide. If it is there, learn it. If it is new, you got to, burn your hands, learn it, and then experience it, so that when you are there, you know how it works and you are able to take your team along. You can't say that it will not affect me. It will affect every single person. The change has already come. It's now, I always tell my students and my clients and everyone I talk to, learn how to use AI, or the AI will use you. So if you want to be getting used by AI, it would simply mean that you ask ChatGPT, what do I say? It's not going to give you right answer. Learn how to write, how to ask a relevant question to AI. AI is a tool that can help you be excellent with your productivity, excellent with your time management, absolutely great with your content. Use it, because without using the brain, the AI will give you random answers, generic.
no, I
Everyone will.
think what you are saying is right. When we talk about AI, it
Hmm,
gives you a structure rather than saying it is going to replace you. It gives you a structure how it should look at. Okay,
correct.
there are algorithms which AI brings in into the realm of learning something. Is that you said communications? One of the best way to do is ask the right question to AI. So it gives you a better. The point is, can you tell me how to write an email? It'll give you the body and right. So most of the people who are trying to do that kind of a thing is not going to work. Ask them right questions like, how do I look at the journey of AI being, ask itself. It will tell you what is that it is happening at the moment. How is AI getting evolved itself by itself? What is that we are learning as a module? When you look at technology is my favorite, so I can keep on talking on it. So AI and ML, you have large language modules that are there, and you get used to them. You train your own AI model. You can build a structure on yourself.
True.
You have almost everything that is available for you to do on AI. But the point is, communicating to AI is more important. You rightly
Absolutely.
said that communication is more important. Now,
Yes.
coming there, how in this generation or the way AI ML is taking up, how important is mentorship and guidance falling in the career planning phase?
Right. I have had, the privilege of having mentors at every stage. So
Mm.
I feel having a mentor in life actually helps you getting the very first step clear, which is clarity.
Hmm.
Because this mentor is the person who is always there to, pull you out from your
Yeah.
self doubts, right? So
True.
I see that a guide, a mentor can actually help you at times uncover what exactly is it that you're not able to see. And we
Hmm.
call it, the matrix in which uh, uh, I know something about myself, but there are a lot of things which I don't know, right? So this is this metrics that we refer to in when we teach, that there are a lot of things which I do not know about myself, but others know about me, and they are usually the talents which others come and tell you that, Sneha, you are so good at doing this. Sneha might not realize because that comes naturally to her. So I think having a guide, having a mentor, you are able to uncover your talents, because your whole self sabotage at times gets ended, because this person tells you that, hey, you are excellent doing this. So why don't you focus on building these three things and scale up and reach your best potential? So I think having a guide, a mentor, extremely helps you in planning your career in terms of how fast you can go, what are the skills you need to add, and how should you really approach. And in current scenario, having platforms like LinkedIn, where contacting to the global workforce is, very very easy, and it's in reach. I think the option is open. Why don't you reach out to people who have walked the path that you want to walk? But then how will you do it when you have the confidence? When will you have the confidence? When you know what you want to ask? When you have the content clear? When you know how to speak? So it all boils down to getting those three things in place, and having a guide or a mentor can fast track your success. What they achieved in 10 years with their inputs, you might be able to do it in maybe lesser time, or if it's not about time, you'll have a very clear idea of how you can go about it. So having a guide and mentor can fast track your success and can actually give you extreme inputs, great inputs in terms of knowing yourself, strengths, your super strengths. I think that is the blessing that we can get from mentors.
I am not able to bring out a pointer where Priyanka has said it's a great message that we are talking here. I'm not able to bring it onto the screen on the chat, but it's on LinkedIn. So that's one message that we see. Coming back to RS, what are the key skills should professionals focus? Because again, there's a confusion. Should I learn what? AIML, everybody is going in that direction. What is that I should do? How do we look at professional skill uh, development to stay competitive?
Right.
Because now talking about AI and ML again, people are confused. Should everything be under the realm of AI and ML? Should I be in that piece? Should I not look at anything which is of my passion? So, what is your suggestion on that, Dr. Neha?
I'll give you an answer which is a little off track, but I really believe in it. And I think when we know that the world is changing so fast, so remaining technologically sound, continuously upskilling is not a choice. It is something that you need to do. You don't have an option to it. You have to learn. You don't have an option of saying, okay, I don't know how to write a Google Drive. I don't know how to operate, how I don't know how to use AI. I don't know how to make this or that. No, you don't have that answer. You need to learn it.
Hmm.
But the three skills which I would call them, you can call them as soft skills, which are important, which you need to be continuously doing, is one that you talked about, which is adaptability. Adaptability is important. Being resilient is important. Number two is communication that we talked about. And number three is being emotionally intelligent. Having these three in place, AI will take a while to reach there. It
Hmm.
may reach at some point of time, but it is still learning those three things, which, if we keep ourselves developing upon, these skills are what make you stand out. AI can never create leaders if the leaders do not have the resilience, if they're not having a very high EQ, and if they do not have the urge of I think digital literacy also is one skill which at this point of time is very important, because that ensures that you are in the market,
Hmm.
competing in the market, and you are learning those skills, staying at the workplace with the relevant content, because anything which is outdated will go. I still remember the first time I saw a computer. It was 1998, I believe, maybe 97. I have worked on MS-DOS. So I remember opening it up and how we used to operate. And then coming from there, it took a word star came into action. And then all of a sudden there was something like Windows. And today I'm on Apple. So the things have changed. So if I say I don't want to learn, I will be outdated. There are people that there is my daughter is in the generation where she's born with the generation of Apple. So you, if you want to stay competitive, if you want to remain relevant, you have to keep upskilling. That's why I said there is no choice. The only choice is that you keep your pace similar to the pace of the market. And people who are from the industry of technology, who are specifically from the field of technology, it changes every 3 months. The languages keep on upgrading themselves, so you need to continuously keep upgrading yourselves so that you remain relevant in the market. But still, concept clarity, knowing the basics is important. But I think developing your adaptability, being resilient, being able to handle different situations. And I mean, there are the same COVID brought very different kind of results
Yeah.
to globally all different kind of people and companies. There were companies which made huge profits, there were companies which got shut down, and at
Yeah.
times they were from the same industry. So what was the difference?
Other industries also are like that. If you really look at, Nokia went down, BlackBerry went down, Apple picked up.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
Samsung picked up, LG went down, though they were doing the same. This one, Motorola and Nokia were the pioneers. They are not there in the market itself
Absolutely.
nowadays.
I mean,
So
the first mover
technology,
advantage goes away if you do
yeah.
not keep yourself updated.
I was part of some of the companies in the mobile technology where they were very confident saying that we will never be replaced. I've seen people getting thrown out of the business and they are no more in the race itself. Now, what we are talking about is one point I wanted to add while we speak is people should be very clear saying that AI is artificial, not intelligence. It is right. So you should be looking at it as an artificial intelligence. It's not the natural intelligence a person holds. So
True.
be clear in what you are talking about. AI is just a tool. Again, I've been repeating this in many of my podcasts. The pointer that we want to make the audience understand is AI, artificial intelligence. What we are talking about is human intelligence that cannot be replaced. One is that. Second is, as you rightly said, Dr. Sneha, it is more to look at adaptability, adjusting to the environments that you are there, and what is the market demanding. I think that's the key takeaway that you're trying to give us, is what I understand. Hope I'm making the right pointer there. Correct me if I
Absolutely.
am. How do we measure ourselves when we are in that stage of changing? See, because most of the time people lean to the wrong wall and start building something, yeah, right.
Right.
So how do we, that looks up mentoring again, but how do we measure whether we are, you said one was having a mentor that could help. What are the other ways that we can look at measuring ourselves?
Um, I think if we look at it, I mean, I really like few lines by Peter Drucker where he says that what gets measured gets managed. So
Next.
that means one step is very clear, that measuring your progress adds to the clarity towards achieving your goals. So you need to regularly keep updating with your mentors, keep talking to your peers, keep talking to your network about your milestones, about what you're doing. Try to
Hmm.
analyze the aspects which are involved.
Yeah.
And secondly, like what you also said, at times you are leaning against the wrong wall. That will come when you have the clarity about the career direction you want to take. Because if you, like I said, if you see how well Sachin Tendulkar sings, I think he would we would not call him a master blaster, because that is not the
Not
skill
a
at
skill.
which we are assessing him. So your assessment needs to be on the quality and the impact of the content that you are creating, and you need to be further trying to get more projects, more relationships in that line, so that you are able to ask people about their feedback. Just allow me a second. Yes, you can eat. Please go. I'm sorry, my daughter was here. She was asking for my time.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So,
think coming back to I'll just conclude on what I was trying to say, because she just
right.
got my attention for a moment. So I think, number one, measuring yourself is very important, and any step that you take needs to take you closer to your goal. So don't assess by how much time you are spending, assess by how close it is taking you to your goal. Because doing anything does not mean that you're moving towards the right direction. Being busy does not mean you're adding value,
Yeah.
right? So when you're at workplace, when you're trying to build your business, or whether you're trying to do a job change, going random without a plan is the biggest roadblock that we all face. So that is where, the coming of a guide or a mentor comes into picture. They give you the framework, they help you with the steps on how you could really reach out.
No, no, you may have told an important point. What gets measured, or I didn't get the right word. What gets measured is what is got. Can you repeat that, please? Sorry, I missed it.
Yeah, what gets measured gets managed.
Managed. Okay, I missed that point. Okay, now coming into managing. Hi. Okay, so looking at some of things that are getting managed is more to look at the effective way of having a network. What is that effective network contribute to achieving career goals, and what are the practices to build strong professional network? LinkedIn being a platform where we have a large frame where we talk about networking,
Yes.
but many of the people still don't connect to in on LinkedIn itself. If you really look at, what is
And
your advice for networking?
I mean, networking is like, it's like the game changer. It's like the blue ocean and the red ocean. That's how different it is. You try to get a job through job portals, you are, into red ocean, where if one job, thousands or lakhs of people are competing. Blue ocean is you have a network, you get a referral, and you make it. Now, it doesn't work that easily. It sounds that easy, but it is
Yeah,
doable. And I've
yeah,
seen it happening. So, networking helps you in achieving your career goals. How do you build it? Number one, you got to be genuine. If you think that you can take advantage of people, be rest assured people will take advantage of
maybe
you.
it's true.
So,
Yeah,
you need to be genuine when you are putting yourself out. Be authentic. Be authentic. Number two, always try to be mutually beneficial. That is how you actually nurture anything, any kind of a network, any kind of a relationship is about mutual nurturing, mutual respect, mutual, beneficial support that we could extend to each other. So you try to help people who are coming to you for help, and that is how you will also be getting the help. On LinkedIn, how do you really make your networking work for you? Number one is the clarity, whom you should connect with. Why are you connecting with them? And once you connect with them, first step is to build a relationship.
hmm.
Once you build a relationship, then you should go ahead and do the nurturing part. Nurturing as in, now I see your podcast, I should comment, I should talk to you about them, I should try to build so that you know me as a person. People expect referrals, as in, get into somebody's inbox and say, please refer me for this job. Why will I
Yeah,
do that? I don't know you. Why will I take the credibility
exactly.
of this unknown person? That will
Yeah,
never happen. For
yeah.
you to vouch for me, you must at least have some idea of who I am. And that is where most of us lack. We wanted to happen like this. It will happen
We are
like this.
we
So,
are in a fast food generation. Okay,
absolutely.
we want food on the table in 15 minutes, but how is that prepared? We are not worried. So
Right. So I
yeah,
think that is where you have to nurture that relationship. You have to maintain it. And if you go with the intention of taking benefit and then, vanishing, believe you me, people are
Hmm.
smarter. People are smarter. So if you are seeking somebody's help, please understand they are at a position where
Right.
you are not. So if they are there, that means they must have got something right now
Not
which you are not able to present yourself to the world with. So never go with the intention of taking only the benefit. Mutually be
able.
respectable, nurture the relationship, try to engage, present your authentic self, and once you build a connection, anything in this world comes through a connection. For example, even this podcast, so I received an invitation. So that invitation was just an invitation. It had a fuel follow up for me to understand what is this work all about. Then we got on a call, we understood each other, we built a connection, and that is why today we are able to talk. But if it would have been an AI generated mail, believe you me, I would not have even maybe read it and understood what is it this that I'm supposed to be doing. So build genuine connections. They will give you results which are unimaginable. People take stands for people whom they believe in. And I think, sir, you will agree to this, and you must have had this experience in your
No, I
life as
think
well.
when we started, as the scroll goes in, we started to talk about technology, cybersecurity, leadership, and management. And when we were talking about the pillars of these four things, when you talk about technology, you need to have a secure technology to implement it. So you need cybersecurity side. Then if you have cybersecurity and technology, you need somebody to manage it. So management came into picture. Now management is there. If you don't have a direction where the leadership is there, you cannot manage it. So the four pillars that we were talking about was to look at how this whole structure is built. We did a lot of work on this, and we finally came out saying that we'll talk about four gamuts of the industry, which is interrelated and interdependent. Okay, and everybody in this world needs to understand that technology needs security, security needs leadership, leadership needs to be managed. So that's the whole structure we built in,
Very true.
and we talk only about
Very
the talks like what we are talking about, how career can be built, how technology can be built, what is AI doing it. And this is where we started. And touchwood, I've got great speakers coming from across, like you and many other speakers. We have about 100 odd speakers now in this gamut. So we are on the 127th
excellent.
episode non-stop. So it's been a great journey. And today I'm able to, not to say that I'm able to pick up a phone and say I can get you onto a podcast, but I'm able to tell people that this is a podcast that we are doing, this is a link that we have. Like you rightly said, is I give that detail in terms of what is that we are trying to do. That has changed the
Yes.
way people started approaching me itself, right? By a person itself. People started looking at these podcasts not on a live session. Our podcasts are repeated viewed after the podcast ends. It's not the live audience that I have. The people who have come after
Yes.
the podcast ended, it is because it's there on the other social medias as well. So primary connection is LinkedIn, as you rightly said. We are talking more on LinkedIn. We're talking to the right set of people, which we are about, like CIOs, CEOs, coaches like you, mentors. We're talking about mentors here. We're talking about our technology experts, engineering heads, and stuff like that. We brought most of them, and it's been a fruitful journey, as you rightly said. It is what we are trying to give as a journey back to the industry with this 20-25 years of experience that we have. Now collectively, if I look at this industry or the speakers that we are having at the moment, 100 into 10 years is what is the experience this podcast has, right? Looking at the
Absolutely.
count, this is the number of hours that this podcast has brought in, is what I will take. That's one strength, as you rightly said. People should start talking. I was a very shy person when I started, and now I'm able to talk, articulate, and get my topics or the speaker's topics to the table and present it. So it has been great. Now how do we look at keeping all this? There should be a balance, right? People don't, either they work over or they don't work. That's the stage that happens. And now if you look at, people are overstressed, less work, but more work, not stressed, still they are at office. How do you look at this as a work-life balance for us? And how do you guide them to manage that work-life? Because again, work-life balance itself is becoming a challenge. Now, that is termed in different terms in different people's language. So what is your intake on that? Sneha?
Uh, Sir, honestly, I have been on, the other side of it where uh, not having work life balance or trying to figure out how to have a work life balance was a situation that I was going through. And the trick that has worked for me is knowing that the only reason when we go beyond our limits is when we don't believe that what
Yeah.
we are doing is enough. And why would I believe that what I'm doing is not enough? When I think I'm not enough. When I know that when I sit for 8 hours, I do everything that I have to do. I am running with the intelligence mindset. I have the capability to do everything whenever needed at the right time. Why will I go from 8 hours to 18 hours? I would not. I would not. And if you stick to yourself and if you follow the framework and you do not operate from fear of if I will not do it, this XYZ will do, and I will not get the promotion and he will get, and so the race begins and then it never ends. Then there is no end. Then you can only listen to the different strategies of how to achieve work life balance, but it will never come. Work life balance will only come when you have the balance of knowing that I am giving my 100%, and of course I am putting it out, I am communicating about how I'm handling my work, and that is how you are confident. Sir, any person who's confident about what they are doing is not looking for a work life balance because they know they are doing it. They know how
Yes, sir.
they are able to project themselves in the right light, so they don't have no fear. They're not competing with anyone. I mean, like I said, I believe there is no competition, enough space, enough money, enough of everything for everyone. I don't have to snatch from somebody to have it for myself. So what is the problem? The only problem is knowing what I want to do and giving it my 100%, having that clarity of my goal. My goal is to finish this project next 5
True.
days. Now if I stick by the rule, I will finish it. But then if I start taking other turns, start wasting my time, then that is where you start losing on track. So I think work life balance to me is more like a mind balance which is needed. But figuring out, making a to-do list, using a agile kind of framework for yourself which can help you do the quick changes and be resilient and adaptable to the changes of the situation can help you maintain the calm. So work life balance is more about maintaining your confidence in yourself, maintaining your focused actions that this is what I want to do, and not unnecessarily questioning yourself, am I doing it right, will it happen or not? So the self doubt also causes a lot of problems in terms of handling your work life. So effectively being able to do these couple of things can actually help us in being happy and content with the work we do, because nothing in life brings you happiness. The award will not bring you happiness, the title will not bring you happiness. They will all end up being like those gratifying symbols. Once achieved,
Yeah.
it's done. Ab mil gaya, ab kya? Then you'll run for the next one. So when will the race end? It would
I
never.
was
That's
looking
what
at
that's why.
one of the interviews of Rohit Shetty, the movie maker. He was saying हर कोई बात करता है स्ट्रेस के बारे में। सो रोहित शेट्टी हमारे जमाने में उसको ओवर टाइम कहते थे, आज के जमाने में इट स्ट्रेस। हम लोगों को एक शिफ्ट खत्म करके we used to start at 2 o'clock and end at 5 again, there is another shift and we used to go work because that was passion। आजकल वो स्ट्रेस हो गया है। तो पहले समझो पैशन क्या है, स्ट्रेस क्या है, तो देन यू विल अंडरस्टैंड इज व्हाट ही वाज टेलिंग इन वन ऑफ द इंटरव्यूज। I felt it was very true to our
Absolutely.
generation, at least people who have looked at DOS and word processing software. Uh, Today we are able to download a video in fraction of seconds. And image coming up was a big time
Absolutely.
for us when we started using internet, right? So people know that difference where
Absolutely.
passion used to be there. We used to wait for one mail to be dropped. So that mail is to, so that mail
Absolutely.
coming in was a surprise. Hotmail creating a mail ID was a big thing. Today, yeah, everybody goes and creates it in seconds because it is all integrated, right?
Absolutely. Having the CDMA technology, sir, to
Yeah,
connect to internet. I mean, it was a life changer. The first phone my father bought was Reliance WCDMA, where it was a
yes.
phone modem, and then you will attach it to your laptop, or not laptop, but PC, and it will keep
Rotating.
rotating and
I've
rotating,
used
and some
the
screens
dial-up
will
where
keep.
BSNL used to have. Used to do a peer-to-peer network call, and that used to be from my place to Bangalore, and it was an STD charge at that time. Amazing things. What could be the last pointer that we could list out saying that how in your career branding plays an important role, right? How do you build a personal
Absolutely.
brand in career while you do a career advancement, and what steps can professionals take to build a strong brand? Because there are two things. One is, I tell is that Sadguru means Isha Foundation, Isha Foundation means Sadguru, like it's like that. So if you're talking about a brand, it should be both for you and for the company. If I am saying X is working as a CEO for an organization, the organization also has a CEO which is X, right? So how do you look at personal branding for many of the people who don't think branding is very important?
Yes, I think personal branding is something which I would say you don't make a personal brand. The
Yeah,
brand exists. Whether you manage it or not is what decision you need
true.
to be taking. And personal brand in the current world, it doesn't just exist on LinkedIn. It exists right from the day when you go for your interview, the way you walk, the way you talk to the janitor, to the CXO, everything talks about your personal brand. So personal brand is like your personal
Hmm.
aura that you
Yeah,
carry with yourself. And digitally, your LinkedIn profile, your resume, all these are your marketing documents. They are going out in the digital world and talking about you, that hey, Sneha knows this, hey, this is what she does. So if you do not maintain it, whom do you expect to go and talk for you? And secondly, this is a tool which you can design. This is a tool which you can control. This is not somebody who will not obey
yeah,
your instructions. Why would not you use it 100% to exemplify? But the main pointer is to present your personal brand. You need to know who you are. What is it that you want to
correct.
present to the world? Because if you're confused, your audience will be as confused as
True.
you are. So if you know what is it that you want to present yourself about, go out, be authentic, and use these tools. Because these days when I talk about career, when a company is doing a hiring, they use ATS softwares. You cannot say that I don't
Yeah,
want to. You have to have the keyword based on the job descriptions. There is no way out. They use LinkedIn profiles, and not just LinkedIn profiles, they use all your social media to figure out how has Sneha Sharma behaved across different mediums. How many times was her message spammed? How many times was she marked as a spam by others? That tells them about what kind of a employee energy do I bring to them. And this happens on
yes,
a click, just a click to figure out what this person is all about. Your digital footprint is there. The moment you like something, the moment you click something, you
yeah,
are stored. So you cannot deny, and you cannot be very cautious about controlling
true.
it either. So the best way to do it is being authentic about yourself, being presenting your authentic self. And when you're authentic, you will never think about what did I say that I never wanted to say, because that's what you wanted to say. झूठ बोलने वाले को सोचना
Yeah,
पड़ता है ना,
true.
इसको क्या झूठ बोला और उसको क्या झूठ बोला. When you're talking about yourself, that you are, that you support, that you believe in, you're always at peace, because you will
Yeah,
speak the same thing and everyone will
true.
relate with you. And I feel your audience is always
Hmm.
smart, whether they're younger to you, older to you, your colleagues, anyone who's listening to you is making the same perception about you that you have about yourself. So Decide what do you really
Oh,
want. I
decide
think
what you
that's
want to
how.
be and whom you want to represent yourself as, right? So that's the key thing. Yeah, thank you for that, Dr. Sneha. So I've taken some pointers where I was looking at another screen. I just wanted to summarize on what we discussed. We spoke about how to define or what does a career spotlight coach mean, and how did it start. We discussed about the frameworks and the methodologies that we want. We spoke about obstacles. We spoke about long term and short term goals. We also looked at adaptability in planning, mentorship, guidance, skill development, measurement, networking strategies, work life balance, and to the personal brand is what we spoke about overall in this session. I think great insights there. Thank you for being part of the show, Dr. Sneha. It's been a great session so far. Thank you for being us. We are on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter as well. We are streaming it live from LinkedIn to YouTube and Facebook. Those are the three modes that we have it on the social media. But we keep posting our events and stuff on Twitter and Insta as well. Hope this session has been a valuable session for the audience and great insights for me, at least on the sessions. Sneha. Our next podcast is income maximizing the revenue over the expenditure in real time. That is happening tomorrow at 7 p.m. There is a post that is there. With this, we would like to conclude and looking forward to see you all again. Thank you, Dr. Sneha. Any last words that you want to look at, ma'am, or you could conclude? Yeah.
I think just, I would say, believe in yourself. Have faith in yourself. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah.
That's it. Do not go by what the world is telling you. The world is telling you what you're currently thinking in your mind. So change your thinking and the world will change with you. It's as simple as that.
So you are saying be live, right?
Absolutely.
Thank you for that, Sneha.
Thank you very much.
We'll meet you again.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. With this, we'll conclude.